Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Pits of Motor Chaos. This is Dave. I got my special guest, front engine dragster driver, Chad Camping. How you doing, Chad?
Doing great, Dave. How are you?
Not bad. So, have you been able to run the dragster at all this year with the COVID going on this year?
We sure have. Yeah, we ran back in the spring, right before all this stuff kind of went down. We ran the March meet over there at Famoso Raceway in Bakersfield. It's a big nostalgia race. So we got that one in. We ended up losing in the first round of that one. We spun the tires and kind of had some bad luck there. But and then we kind of went on a break there for a while. But here lately we've been able to do some racing. We ran a night race here about a month or so ago. And then we started our ANRA Nostalgia Drag Racing Series over there in Famoso as well. That's a 4-race series, and that started, about 2 weeks ago. And we got another one here in about 3 weeks. So we'll be racing through November over there.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Famoso, that's a legendary track there. I would love to go up there one of these days and see that track.
It's a great racetrack. The surface itself is amazing, all concrete, quarter mile. The crew and the staff there, the Bowser family that owns it are just amazing. They really have a great crew over there. They take care of their people. They're just a pleasure to race with. It's a lot of history there.
Yep. The local track by me is Great Lakes Dragway. They've been open since, I believe it was 1955 they opened. Yeah, so
I think Famoso's right there too. I think in the early 50s, I think they've been around,
Yeah, we just need to keep supporting our local old tracks, the mom and pop tracks.
Yeah, that's it. It's too bad they just canceled the California Hot Rod Reunion, which is another big race over there in October because of the COVID stuff. Main reason is because they're not allowing fans.
Right.
Yeah, but we're able to run our ANRA series. It is limited. It's only limited to the driver and 4 crew members. But hey, at least we get out and do some racing.
Yeah, the track by me, the one I was just talking about, Great Lakes Dragway, they got their big Labor Day Time Machine Nationals they do every year. They're going as planned. No limit on people or nothing, just regular. Whoever wants to go there can get in there, and it's like Saturday's like $45 and Sunday $35. Because only reason Saturday costs more because they're bringing in like I believe 10 front engine nitro dragsters.
Oh, nice! Yeah. That's I've seen a little bit going on with that. I think that's Jim Young.
Yep, exactly.
I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a really cool deal. Yeah. Yep. Maybe someday we'll be able to step up to a front engine nitro car.
Yeah. Now what are you running, blower?
No, we are just injected on alcohol in our combination.
Yeah, have you ever put any nitro on that thing?
No, never put any nitro in the tank. We run an index class. It's the class we run is called Nostalgia Eliminator 1, or NE1. We run on a 760 index, so it's all about leaving the starting line and running that number, and we've been able to run it, with no problem on alcohol. I'm sure if we put a little in the tank, though, it would hop it up.
Yeah. Now, so, what's the fastest pass you made with that dragster?
So we've been 744 to 180 in that car.
And that was at Famosa?
Correct. That was at Famosa, yep.
Nice. So now, let me rewind the clock with you, Chad. Now, how did you get into drag racing in the first place?
So I've been around it my whole life, Dave. My dad, as early as I can remember, going to the drag strip with my dad. We grew up down in Southern California. I can remember going to Orange County International Raceway down there. with my dad. He ran a little '57 Chevy bracket car back then, and then he got into drag boat racing and ran drag boats for probably a good 10 years, from the mid to late '70s through the late '80s. And so that's kind of how I got around it. It's just something that he loved to do, and of course, once you get in, it sucks you in, And so we built a car in high school. I had a 1970 Camaro. That was my high school car, my commuter car, and we started bracket racing that thing down at L.A. County Raceway down in Palmdale. That's kind of where I got my start, and been driving different bracket cars and stuff through the years since then. We had the first time I ever raced this was before they had junior dragsters and stuff, Dave, so we really didn't have that opportunity,
Right.
at a younger age. So I was 15 years old. I didn't even have my license yet, and we took it out there to L.A. County Raceway. My dad entered the car and went through tech and everything, and then I think he made 2 passes in the car, and I said, "That's it, you're out of here." So I kicked him out of the seat, and I jumped in and started driving at 15, which was probably not the right thing to do, but it was fun. I don't think I ever let him back in the seat after that.
Yeah. It seems to be a lot of racers that I agree, and most of them it's the father's fault they got into drag racing.
It's definitely his fault. Yeah, I blame him 100%, and it's a family thing, and we always did it as a family when we were younger. Whether it was racing cars, we raced dirt bikes together for several years, and then the drag boats as well. That was a big family thing, and still now we do this whole thing together. My dad does the engines on the car, and he's the crew chief, and he and my mom and my wife Darlene and my kids, and they all come out. I got one of my uncles that's a big supporter of us. It's just a big family thing, and it's more than just racing. It's there's a lot more that's part of it,
Yep. So how old are the kids?
Oh boy, I got them from, let's see, I think my oldest now would be, well, I'm going to get in trouble. I think she's 28 now. No, she'll be 28 this year. She's 27. And I got a son who is 20, I think he's 24. And then I got another daughter that is, she just turned 17. And then my youngest is 11. So we got them all over the board.
Now, do all 4 of them like drag racing?
Yeah, my son is probably the most involved. He comes out and helps us with the car and stuff. The 3 girls, I mean, they like to go, but they're not really into the cars or never really wanted to drive, I guess, or anything at this point. I'm sure my son would like to drive, We need to get him in something a little more tame, and kind of work his way up. But no, I think they all like it. They maybe not quite as crazy as I am, but they certainly all like it.
Now, how about your wife? She likes drag racing?
Yeah, we again, she's probably not quite as into it as I am, but she does. She's been a huge supporter. We had, when we were in high school, it's kind of taboo now, but we did a lot of street racing back then, and she was always out at the street races with us, and at the drag strip as well, and continues to support us now. I took a little break there, raising the kids and stuff. There was probably a good 10 years or more that really didn't do much, and so we kind of took some time off and came back to it here a couple of years ago with the front motor car.
Okay, so now after all the years, what still keeps you passionate about drag racing?
You know what? For me, Dave, it's more than just race day, I think it's everything that leads up to it. It's for me, it's a stress relief. You know, when I come home, it's a stress relief for me to go out and work on the car, do maintenance on the car, tinker on the car. I really like the competition. I've always been competitive, whether it was, sports growing up through high school or racing dirt bikes or whatever it was. I really like to compete. So that, the competition, definitely brings me back, you know. And I just enjoy the sport, period. It's just, I mean, what can be better? It's just awesome. Fast cars, loud, the smell of rubber and nitro or alcohol or race gas, whatever it is. It's just, it's pretty fun.
Now, when you used to do bracket racing for all those years, did you have any success with bracket racing?
Yeah, we did. We did pretty well early on. You know, we had some success down there in Southern California, LA County Raceway. Never won any championships or anything like that, but we did pretty good with some different cars. Quick funny story. I had, like I said, I was really young, and I went to my first final ever in a bracket race, and I was probably 16 years old at that time, and I remember rolling up to the front of the lanes, and it was me and this older gentleman. Of course, everybody was older than me then, but you could tell he was a veteran, and at that time we had to flip for lane choice to see who wanted who got which lane in the final. And so we roll up, and the official says, "Yeah, go ahead and flip a coin for lane choice." And my competitor looks at me and he says, "No, you pick." He says, "I got so many trophies on the wall, it doesn't matter to me." And he got me right there. That was it. I went out there and I went red and lost the race. So he had me 16 years old. I was intimidated, and I went out there and screwed up. But yeah, we did pretty good there. We used to race. We lived up in Washington State for about 14, 15 years. We did some racing up there, Pacific Raceways in Seattle. Up in Canada, actually, Mission, BC, up there in Canada is a beautiful track up on the Fraser River up there. So, yeah, no, we've done okay through the years.
Now, what do you enjoy most about being a drag racer?
I think like I said, for me, it's more than just racing the car. I think it's everything that goes along with it. I think it's the involvement of the family. It's the preparation for it, making sure you have everything together. And then when you get in that car and you're strapped into that car, and as soon as you start the motor in that thing, like, all that stuff goes away, and you become really, really focused. And it's like, it's odd. It's like everything else just gets quiet, and I really enjoy that. And of course, I love the acceleration. Speed is cool. You know, I see like, the Bonneville guys and stuff going 300-400 miles an hour. I mean, that seems cool, but I really like the acceleration. That first, that first eighth mile of that thing, setting you back in the seat and trucking down through there. It's pretty fun.
Now, is there anything you hate about being a drag racer?
Broken race cars, Dave.
Yeah.
Some things are out of your control. You know, you prepare as best you can. You do all the maintenance you can, but you're still going to have failures. And I guess the hate side of drag racing would be the financial burden side. You know, when you break stuff, and it can get expensive. You know, we've learned a lot in our first 2 years here with the front engine dragster, and we've had our share of issues, but it's made us better. You know, we've learned from all of them. We learn every time we go out there. So yeah, sometimes the ouchy stuff can be a bit of a pain. You don't like that so much.
Now, if you could have the fans remember one thing about you, what would you want that one thing for them to remember about you?
I think that I was a competitor, but yet I would do anything else, do anything to help my competition. And I think that's the same for a lot of guys in drag racing. I've had nothing but awesome people around helping us run this car. We're only about 2 years into this particular car, and we've just had help from just numerous people that are in our class racing against us, and they are just freely, helping us out with, information within reason. And I think if I was to be remembered, I'd want to be remembered like that too, that I was, friendly, willing to help out anybody that needed help, but also a competitor.
Now, Chad, do you think you could get any better as a driver? And if so, how would you achieve that to get better?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I can always get better. I try to be really consistent with what I do, from the burnout process to the backup process to the staging process. I've got our car is set up. It's kind of unique. It's a 2-speed power glide transmission with a transmission brake. However, the transmission brake is on my foot, almost like a clutch, and I want to be able to get a little bit better on the tree. I mean, we've been good. We haven't been bad, but there's always improvement there. So as a driver, I think I could improve on the tree, definitely.
Now, when you got into drag racing, when your dad got you in drag racing years ago, did you have any other drivers that, maybe influenced you besides your dad?
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, the cars that I really enjoyed watching were the pro stock cars. Of course, back then we had like Lee Shepard, Warren Johnson, Warren son Kurt Johnson. Those were definitely some of my heroes back then. And then after that came like Jeg Kaufman, just amazing drivers, really, really talented. And so those were definitely people I looked up to. On the dragster side, on the Top Fuel side, I would say Eddie Hill, would have been a big one. He actually raced drag boats the same time that we were running boats back then, and was pretty dominant in the boats. He had a pretty bad crash one year, and then went back to cars and won a championship, NHRA championship in the dragster. So Eddie is another one of those that I always looked up to.
Now, all about a guy like Big Daddy Garlitz.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't help but that guy was obviously a legend. What he did for the sport, not only from a competitive aspect, but from a safety aspect. Going to the rear engine car, which I don't really like, to be honest with you. I'd rather see him in front motor cars, but that's just me. But yeah, Garlitz was a hero for sure.
And Chris the Greek Kermasinis, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The Greek, and yeah, some of those were. Well, I mean, the Greek's still driving now, I guess, sometimes, but some of those were, a little bit before my time, I guess, but still, yeah, think of that guy that's still, who knows how old he is, in his 80s or whatever, and still drives a Top Fuel car now and then.
So do you look up to any other drivers in like NHRA, like Top Fuel Dragster or Funny Cars at all?
Somebody I follow a little bit would be Ron Capps in the Funny Car. I guess if I was gonna ever drive a Top Fuel car in the NHRA, I would probably lean more towards the Funny Car side. And Ron Capps is he's just a professional. He's been doing it for years. He's very good with media and promotion, and so Capps would be, and he's a cool dude too. I ran into him a few times down here in California. He grew up nearby where we live now, and just a really, really cool guy.
Yeah, I know he comes there to Bakersfield to do those nostalgia events.
He does. In fact, he won he drove a fuel altered at the March meet, and he won it. And I know that was a big deal for him. As big as winning the March meet is like it's almost like winning Indy or something for those guys. I mean, it's well, for us too, but it's a big deal. It's a very prestigious race to win.
Yep. So now, how was your first time experience getting in that dragster, going on the track?
I tell you what, it was pretty fun, Dave. I had never driven a dragster of any kind, let alone a front engine dragster. Nor did I really have the desire to drive a rear engine dragster, I guess. I don't know. Something about the front engine car appealed to me. Something about sitting on the rear end and having the engine in your face is pretty cool. But I remember it being kind of a weird experience. We fired the car up and we just did maybe about a 300 or 400 foot hit that first time. And it was pretty surreal. It was like, it was like nothing I'd ever done before. And we had a pretty soft tune-up and stuff in it, but I guess I tell people it's like driving a overgrown go-kart with a alcohol injected 500-inch motor in it. It's pretty fun.
Is it a big adrenaline rush for you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure it is. It's really fun on a good path. When you get it stopped down there and get out, it's hard not to have a smile on your face. It's a lot of fun. I wish everybody could experience it once. People, you try to relate to people, and this isn't even a top fuel car, but it still leaves pretty hard. I mean, it's our 60 foot times are in the the low 1 second range, 106 to 110 and 60 foot. So we're going 0 to 60 in probably about 1 second, maybe just over 1 second. In the 8th mile, we run about 4.7 seconds in the 8th mile. You're already going 145 miles an hour then. So the acceleration is pretty cool, and I wish everybody would get a chance to feel that sometime. I don't think they quite understand what that's like. You're definitely kind of in a fog for that first second or two when you first leave, but it's a lot of fun.
So now, what's your preference, quarter mile or 8th mile?
Definitely quarter mile, Dave. I've really never done any 8th mile racing. To me, the race is just getting going at an 8th mile. I would. I'm sure I'd like 8th mile too, but once you plug that thing in high gear and let it run on down through there to the full quarter mile, it's pretty fun. So I would prefer quarter mile.
Now, for your dragster, can you throw a funny car body on that thing?
No, not on this one. This one's all dragster. Some of the altered you can. They can swap between an altered body and a funny car body. But yeah, no, this one's just a dragster. It's not a long dragster. It's a 180-inch wheelbase, which is for the newer cars anyway, is a little bit on the short side. But no, it's just dragster.
Now, would you ever drive a few altered?
Absolutely. Yep. I would have no qualms about that. I got a good friend, Sean Van Horn, from here in Paso Robles where we live. He runs the Panic Fuel Altered. He built that car himself, and it's pretty awesome. I would have no problem jumping in the seat of something like that, as long as it was prepared right.
Now, currently, how many crew members do you have for the dragster, and who are your crew members?
So we run, it's pretty much, it's a minimum of 2 to 3 crew members to do what we do, as far as, my mom is involved. She's pretty much drives the tow vehicle, so she drives the truck and pulls the car to the staging lanes, and like I said, my dad is the crew chief. He straps me in the car. He's there starting the car when it's time to go. I have my uncle, Uncle Dude is his name, and he's been heavily involved. Once I get in the car, he lowers the wheelie bar in the back and pulls the pin on the parachute and keeps up on the tire pressure, makes sure the tire pressure is where we want it to be. My son Brody, he's also involved, does a lot of that stuff also. He turns the GoPro on and all those sort of things. And I said, like I said earlier, my wife Darlene, she when she can make it out, she's helping too, and the kids are always helping cleaning the car, and so yeah, it takes probably minimum 2 to 3 people to run it. Sometimes we get a little more help than that, and every little bit helps.
Now, when you get out there to the start line, do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions at all?
No, not really, Dave. No, I don't have. I'm not a superstitious person at all. I think I do like to get in the car a little bit early rather than later. I don't like to be at the front of the staging lane still strapping in. I'd rather be in there an extra few minutes to get settled and that sort of thing. Matt Miller is the chaplain over at Famoso Raceway, and most races he's there, and he comes over and says a little prayer with me, and wishes me the best, and so that would be probably the only ritual. But other than that, just get in and go.
Now, do you have any sponsorship for the Dragster?
Yeah, we've had a lot of help from Pioneer Automotive Machine. They're a local machine shop here in Paso Robles. Brian Jordan over there has been awesome. Helped us out with fuel, and he bought us a set of rods a while back, and then taking care of all our machine work and that sort of thing. My uncle that I mentioned, Uncle Dude, he's been great. He's helped us out here and there with some different things. Sal Ganassi, a good friend of mine, he helped us out when we first got the car. So yeah, we've had some help from some really good people.
Is there a lot of preparation for you to get that Dragster ready for a weekend?
I tend to do most of the maintenance, when we get back from the race. Usually that first weekend after we get back, or sometime during that week, I'll, get the car back up on stands, and if I need to, once in a while I'll pull the pan and check a few rod and main bearings. It's pretty maintenance free if everything's going well. If you don't have any failures or anything like that. But yeah, it does take a little while to, just get all the stuff, get all your fuel together, load the car, that sort of thing. I try to have all that maintenance done as early as possible. That way I go through the car, go through every nut and bolt on that thing. That way if I find something, I can deal with it right away rather than wait until, 3 days before it's time to leave.
So now, how do you get your mind mentally prepared for a race?
I don't really get nervous per se. Maybe a little bit. I'm a bit of a pacer. Sometimes I start pacing back and forth a little bit. I just try to kind of sit down and relax a little bit. We've been racing in some really hot weather, over 100-degree weather, and so I might just sit in the motorhome with the AC on for a little bit and just kind of chill out like that. Don't really have any, pump me up music or anything like that. Just kind of try to relax and calm the nerves a little bit, and that's it.
Now, besides Bakersfield, do you have any other tracks that you enjoy racing on?
Yeah, we did a little bit of racing last year down in Fontana, down where they have the big NASCAR track down there. There's a drag strip there. Unfortunately, they closed it this year for the rest of the year because of COVID. But that was a good track too. There, like I said earlier, there's some really cool tracks in the Pacific Northwest. Seattle is really neat. It's up in the trees up there. As long as you can dodge the rain showers up there, you usually have really good air. It's close to sea level. The same with Mission Raceway up there in British Columbia, Canada. A really fast racetrack, good air. Those are both really fun. Of course, as a kid, I grew up racing at LA County Raceway down there in Palmdale. That's since been torn down. That one went away, but that was always a fun racetrack too.
All right. Now, so far in your drag racing, have you reached any milestones?
We're working on some now, Dave. We'd really like to make a run at the ANRA championship in Nostalgia Eliminator 1. I think that would kind of be our first goal there. Last year was our kind of our inaugural season in that, and we came out of the box really strong. We went to the final in our first race. Lost to the eventual champion of the series, named Joey Trotsky, just a awesome driver, awesome competitor. Came out of the box strong, which maybe wasn't a good thing, and then we kind of went downhill. We had some engine issues, a couple of races in there, but I think we still finished 6th or 7th in points last year in that series, and so I think right now our goal is to see if we can win a race in the front motor car, and maybe try to win a championship.
All right. Now, where do you get all your fire safety equipment from?
I wear the impact helmet, my fire suit and gloves and boots. That's all Simpson. And then we've got DJ safety, belts in the car, and parachute. So we spread the wealth. We got a little bit of everybody.
Yeah. So you get some stuff from Big Ben.
From Big Ben. Mm-hmm. Yep. We just got a new parachute from Ben here a month or two ago. So yeah, and it's awesome. Stops us good.
Yeah. Everyone seems to love Big Ben.
Yeah. He's a racer's guy. He really supports not only the big guys, but really supports the sportsman cars.
All right. Now, let's see, where am I? Have you had any accidents or close calls in your racing career so far?
No, never crashed a car. There was maybe a few things back in the street racing days, which I said earlier probably shouldn't have done, and I don't recommend for kids anymore. But there was definitely some close calls back then. Racing on the street was that was a whole different ball game. But never really crashed a car. I've had a few weird things happen in the dragster a few times, mostly because of our own wrongdoing. But it's pretty manageable. It's a long enough wheelbase, that it seems to be, pretty forgiving. So no, thankfully no. We've never crashed one, and I don't plan on it either.
Yeah, knock on wood, nothing will happen for you.
You got that right. Yep, you got that right. But we are prepared. We are prepared if it does happen. We do things obviously safety first, and if something does happen, then I feel like I've got all the equipment and the car's prepared, and if something would happen, hopefully we would be taken care of.
All right, we reached the fun question portion. You ready for some fun questions, Chad?
All right, fire away.
Outside of drag racing, any other hobbies?
Fishing, bass fishing would be my next biggest hobby, I would say. Love to go bass fishing. We do. We used to do a few tournaments here and there. Kind of got out of that. That takes a lot of time, but fishing would be my next biggest hobby.
So, what's the biggest largemouth bass you've ever caught?
10 pounds even was the biggest largemouth I ever caught.
Yeah, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so have you won any of your trophies or anything in your drag racing so far?
We had some #1 qualifier trophies, some runner-up trophies. We're still waiting for that first win, Dave.
If you could do time traveling, hit a time travel machine and go back in the time, would you do anything differently with your drag racing?
Boy, that's a good question. I think drag racing. The thing I like about the nostalgia side of it is that it's kind of like drag racing was 30 years ago, and so if I was to go back, I think I'd go back to that time when it wasn't so, especially the NHRA, it wasn't so corporate, it wasn't so money driven. It was about guys that were innovators, that built their own cars, they built their own engines, and they figured out how to make them faster. So I think if I could go back to that time, that would be pretty cool.
So now, if you and your family have time to go on a vacation, what's your favorite vacation getaway?
Boy, the girls really like the beach. So I'm gonna say like we go down south to Newport Beach down in Southern California. We were supposed to go over to Maui this year in April, but that didn't happen because of the COVID thing. That all got canceled. So let's go with Maui.
All right, so what is Chad Camping's favorite food to eat?
So if you ask pretty much anybody that knows me, they're going to say hot dogs, which is weird. I do like hot dogs, but I mean, hey, if you're gonna let me pick anything, I'm gonna go with steak and lobster.
All right, now does your wife cook?
She does.
So what's your favorite dish that the wife makes?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm gonna go with let's go with a breakfast. She makes these really awesome Dutch pancakes that are really good.
Sounds good. Now, do you cook at all?
I do a little bit. I try. Not very good at it.
All right, so what do you consider your best dish to make then?
Well, I'm going to go on the breakfast side again. I make a pretty mean biscuits and gravy.
My wife loves biscuits and gravy. All right, so what's your favorite beverage?
I would say my favorite beverage is probably milk. Drink a lot of milk.
Now, when you drink milk, what kind of milk you drink? 2%, whole milk? What do you drink?
Yeah, pretty much all 2%. Yep.
All right, so what's your favorite movie of all time, Chad?
Oh, boy. That's a good question. One of my favorite movies is probably like Shawshank Redemption. That was a really good movie.
What's your favorite color?
I'm going to say purple.
Are you a cat guy or a dog guy?
Oh, we have a few of both, but I'm kind of partial to dogs myself.
Yeah, man's best friend. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, favorite music?
Definitely rock music. Grew up in the 80s and 90s, so for me it was a lot of the metal bands from the 80s. Metallica was always a big favorite of mine. So yeah, definitely rock music.
Who's your favorite band?
I would probably say Metallica Metallica was probably my favorite band. Really liked Foo Fighters is another pretty awesome band. So there between those two.
All right, now what's your biggest pet peeve?
Biggest pet peeve. Things that I can't control and having to depend on other people to get things done for you.
Now, when you were a kid growing up, did you have a favorite cartoon to watch?
Boy. I'm going to go with my daughter and I, before you called, we were just watching Scooby-Doo. So I'm going to go with Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo. All right, so now, when you're at the track for race day, Chad, what's your eating habits? Do you eat lightly during a race day and wait till the races are done, or do you eat regularly during a race day?
No, I eat pretty light. I usually will, my mom will usually, make a little breakfast. Sometimes she'll do a little bacon and eggs. Our typical race, we probably don't make our first run till maybe 11 o'clock, so we'll eat a little breakfast. I don't really eat much for lunch. I'll kind of maybe snack a little bit, maybe a ham bun or something, and then eat a good meal at dinner. But yeah, you get going and you're busy and the nerves are going, and I don't tend to eat a lot during the race day.
All right, most embarrassing moment during a race?
Oh boy, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go with the. I don't know. Well, I tell you what, we broke the motor on the burnout last year in like our third race, and that was pretty embarrassing. Broke the motor, had to pull over and give the other guy a single. So I'm gonna go with that.
All right. Now, if you weren't a drag racer, what do you think you'd be doing?
For a hobby or for
Yeah.
You know what? I'd probably be doing a lot more fishing, Dave.
All right. Fondest memory of your drag racing history so far?
Oh boy, there's so many. One big thing that sticks out from several years ago now, we did we ran the Pinks All Out series. I don't know if you remember that. It was on TV.
Yeah,
and yeah, we ran the Pinks All Out series in Seattle, and we got picked for the 32 car runoff there. I don't know how many cars were there. It was like 600-700 cars or something, and we got picked for that 32 car runoff. We ended up losing in the first round, but that was really a really fun race. But they're all fun. I mean, the runner up we did last year in our first ANRA race with the Dragster, that was pretty exciting too. We lost by 13 ten-thousandths of a second, which is like a couple inches. So that was pretty neat also. But yeah, those two things probably.
All right, now if people want to see where you're going to be racing at, what's the best way for people to follow you?
They can follow us on, we've got our Facebook or my Facebook, just Chad Camping on Facebook. We've also got the race car site there on Facebook, which is Camping Chaos Racing on Facebook. You can also follow it on that. I need to probably update that a little more, but yeah, they can, and they'll see there's links to the ANRA schedule that we run over in Bakersfield, and that's usually the best place to follow us.
Awesome. Well, Chad, I want to thank you very much for taking time to do this interview.
Absolutely, Dave. My pleasure. It's been fun.
Any final words?
Hopefully we get back to normal here for everybody soon. Good luck to all the racers that are out in Indianapolis right now. The U.S. Nationals going on. We've got some friends over there running right now, so best of luck to them. And yeah, let's get through this, and looking forward to 2021.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Chad, and I hope you have a great night, and best of luck with the rest of the season for you.
Appreciate it, Dave. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a good night.
You too, buddy.
Bye.